I'm on my way to the library again to work on my draft. I am in a place with my draft where I'm so close to the end. My wife actually said it to me perfectly. I'm having trouble. There's like 3 trials in my book for the main characters to go through, and I'm on the 3rd one. Follow the characters through the story like any writer does. So now the 3rd trial that I had originally outlined doesn't make sense. And it's really been tripping me up for days. And I'm like, ugh, I'm stressed out about it. My wife was like, you need to just write it. You're so concerned with how close you are to being done that it's like tripping you up trying to write this 3rd trial. I look a little crazy, but this is the only time that I really am going to have, probably 2 hours at most. I really just want to get into the 3rd trial, start writing it so that it's not like so scary, because I feel like it's been a couple days of me feeling like blocked and not really sure which direction to go in. So it's just looming larger and larger and larger the more days that I don't work on it. Going to the local library now, and we'll pick up when we get there. I just pulled in, it's not too busy, which is great. Go ahead and go inside. I'm hoping my same spot from the other day is free. Now I am heading home to finish up some work. So that's really going to be it for the draft today. I really didn't film anything while I was writing. I got about 1,300 words, which is kind of what I wanted. I really wanted to hit 15, but I was at a stopping point, and with the timing and everything, it just works out if I stop now. So I'll take the win. I'm trying to get over 1,000 if I can per day. I'm following Stephen King's on writing kind of mantra, his guidelines, whatever. It's several days later and I have finished nothing. I've not worked on my draft again, which is stressing me out a little bit. I'm really just sharing this because this is like the real behind the scenes. Sometimes when I'm watching YouTube or TikTok or whatever, I feel like I'm getting the glamorized version. Even on Substack sometimes I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a glamorized version, and that just makes me like feel bad. I'm sure other people as well. This is really what it's been like trying to write my first draft of my book, and it's so crazy. I just finished actually On Writing by Stephen King, and I found this at exactly the right time in my draft because I'm at the point where I'm near the end. I'm almost done, which is kind of presenting the issue right now because I'm not at my house. I'm at my parents' house. I'm leaving at the end of the week. I'm driving back to my house. I have my master's coursework to work on. I'm still working full time. So there's just so much going on. But finding this book at this time, he just really invigorated a sense of writing as serious business, number one. I don't think this was his point at all. I'm kind of giving myself a little bit of grace right now. Writing is so difficult, and it's not really the actual writing itself, it's balancing everything else. At one point, he's like, the hardest part about writing was being a teacher at the same time and being so exhausted at the end of the week that the last thing you want to do is be writing. As I'm almost at the end of my first draft, I also am really starting to doubt everything and everything, and I've been trying to consume a little less of certain content because I'll see things like, oh, I wrote this book for, I don't know, 7 years and it's been on submission, it died on submission, so now I need to write another book. And I have never considered that this book wouldn't get published, because if I have to publish it myself and send it to my family and friends, I will do that. So my book will be published and it will be read by people. But I would like to obviously be picked up by an agent, a publisher, and have my writing out there for, you know, a lot of people to be reading, because I just love my story so much that I want people to read it. I'm at the point where I'm doubting everything, and it's definitely because I'm out of my routine, I'm out of my environment. I have a really strict routine when I'm at my house, including like getting up at 5 o'clock to go to the gym, writing. I have a very strict routine, and so I've been out of that for several weeks now. I've written 5,000 words in March, which I'm super proud of. I didn't realize I had written that much actually so far in March. And since I'm going home at the end of this week, I think I'm really just going to try to be a little bit chill with myself, because I do need to get my master's coursework done 100%. I can't not do that right? I can't I can't fail that at this point. So I do need to get that done. I'm driving home. That's a whole day. I still need to turn assignments in on the weekend. I'm working. So I think I'm just going to be a little bit chill with myself and try to keep those doubts from creeping in as much as possible. And one way that I'm doing that is like reading. I don't have it in here with me right now, but I'm reading Didion and Babbitt's, and I am also reading an Alice Feeney book somewhere that my parents just had. If you saw my video on their little library, their bookshelf, I took it from there. So I'm just reading like a fun light book, and then Didion and Babbitt's was a little bit different. So I'm just like keeping my mind engaged and, you know, staying reading, but not beating myself up, because that's not going to get me anywhere. It's not going to make me write. The mental space is not there. The actual space is not there. I'm just trying to be extra chill with myself this week, and then hopefully I'll be picking, well, not hopefully, definitely I'll be picking up next week back at my house, back in my routine, and I will be able to like really document what it's like finishing the end of my first draft. And I also thought, like, how cool would it be to document finishing my first draft, you know, to look at back on. This is the first full-length book I've ever written. I've written so many stories as a kid, you know, which was so funny too to read. I highly recommend this. I wrote a Substack article about the only 2 books that I would recommend if you're thinking about writing a book. But it's just it's so cool to see where I'm at after being a kid who read so much that people didn't believe I was reading that much, to feel like I never really kind of fit in a lot of ways. I think because my head was so lost in stories and lost in a different reality, maybe writing so much as a kid, writing stories and little composition books and stuff, to now being here and, you know, finishing the first draft of my first novel. It's so cool. So I just, as I was editing, I wanted to just come back in and be like, you know what, because I can see how like stressed I am and how much pressure I feel as I was watching it. So now it's a couple days later, and I just am feeling a little bit more resigned to the fact that I'm just gonna spend the next couple days like soaking up my family and, you know, my last couple days here, and I will just pick it up when I'm back in my routine, and that's okay. That's what my life is requiring at this moment.